I had a question about today on Mark's call with that thing. Now I don't even know what it's called. You know how he said you're not meant to share stuff in your class to the people. I don't know what it was, how he worded it. What was that? Because I actually, I know I'm hopeless with these words. About 3 days ago, me and Kim run our feminine presence workshop class, masterclass. And about 3 days ago, we decided to do a free challenge. Like we just decided, and we were going to share it with the group that we are teaching for 6 weeks in this weekly masterclass. And then he said that today. Does that include that? Like you can't share stuff like that? Is that?
No, it was more if for people who and obviously Ryan wasn't on that call, but it's more because of the intention to create a community where we support each other, and there's no cross marketing. So it was more at the if anybody's created like a 30-day quest or something that people are in the NG members can access, that's fine. But it's if people are trying to sell products or services across the community, that isn't the type of community it is. And a lot of these people that seem to be trying to do it, they're not doing it intentionally. It's just that in a lot of cases, or a lot of what they're used to doing is going out there and leveraging or using social media to promote their products or services into Facebook groups or on Instagram or Facebook or into online platforms. So because we have a completely different model and we're trying to shift the focus away from people just selling and getting an individual win to a conscious collective win, that's where Mark was saying, don't do it. There's no solicitation within the community.
That was it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Sorry, Ryan. I couldn't remember the word, but yeah.
No, listen, I am loving the fact that I am getting this insight. It's great because I'm in a unique position where I am transitioning out of the military into sales. And two, I'm also in another mastermind here in America that has a platform that's similar to Noble Goldman. So like navigating that, hearing the different nuances, having those two worlds kind of like connecting, me being the bridge, but also knowing my left and right limits of like respecting what they're doing, respecting what you're doing, but also allowing them to come together so that both sides can benefit. Yeah, it's very interesting. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah, there's I think the way that I always described, and this is obviously the way the call is going, so it's perfectly fine. The way that I always described NG to myself and to others is it's simply a tool. And if you've got a leak at your home and you need to call the plumber out, the plumber doesn't rock up to your house with just one tool. He or she will come with a van full of tools, and depending on what they need, they'll be able to then do the job. So the angle of what we've got in NG is kind of in a way a toolbox because of all the different people that bring in their individual value and their genius to share. But at the same time, it does work well with other things. So, you know, like even with one of the businesses that I've got there, it's not even anything to do with NG, yet it still serves me. And I know that I can leverage NG to help me become better. But I think what's more important is that when we look at a lot of these things, so especially in the online world, and if we just look at what's happening around the world right now with people losing their jobs, here in Australia, we've got if you don't have the vaccine, you can't work. That's all their mandates that they're trying to bring in. They've created a lot of fear around it, so people think it's actually happening now, and it's not. It's just things that they've spoken of. So these people then are concerned that what are they going to do? They need to earn, they need to pay their bills and so on. So the focus here is that there's a lot of them are looking for ways out, and online business, I believe, will rise. But what we tend to find when we step into any form of business is, and it's irrelevant in my opinion, whether it's face-to-face, as in physically face-to-face with the person in front of you, door-to-door sales, that kind of thing, or whether it's online, is that when you put aside the product or the service, it really comes down to the person that you are, your ability to communicate effectively, to show up, to have a good presence and energy about you, so that people can feel comfortable in your presence, because that makes all the difference. So, and I'll give you an example of this. Where I used to live in Perth is known as one of the very posh suburbs. And I had built a carpentry and joinery business very well throughout the suburb. And then I went and got a sleeve tattoo, which goes from my wrist all the way up my arm, right the way around my back, and comes down here. And it's actually a tomoko. It's a story. It's a Maori story of my life. So it's not, with all due respect, skulls and crosses and daggers and so on. And that's not a problem. No judgment there. But there's a life story and meaning to it. Well, I was advised by people who were my clients to make sure that I always had it covered, because they didn't want to see it and they didn't really want to be associated with that, because to them it represented bikies. Even though my job was on point, they respected me, they liked me, they made that decision on just my choice, what aligned with me. So I feel that where I'm going with this is, yes, the business has something that you maybe get passionate about, and the end result is sales and money in to do whatever you want to do. But the reality of it is that the person you become through the whole process, which is all in the personal growth angle, not only helps us in regards to the business, but it also helps us in our every day-to-day life, around family, around friends, around creating new business and opportunities. That to me is what I see, in particular, the power of NG, the power of a few of the other things that I'm involved in with communicating. And in a way, it's really interesting to just observe the way that some people communicate, and then realize, with all due respect, not that I'm better than them, but how far I've gone and how much more I've become in the way that I see them communicating. It's really interesting just watching it unfold. But as I said, I'm no better, but I am grateful for these people like Mark Santos to create and choose to step out there, to open the door and say, hey, I'm creating this. Is this something you align with? If it is, let's collaborate. And that's really what NG has become. So, but I'm open to hearing what anybody else has to say around what they've experienced in NG or outside or any area.
Roger, did you want to speak, or yeah?
Yeah, I missed the first half of this morning's meeting, but yeah, I was the one who put on because about these promotions or things that come on and people launch into a sales pitch. I put in the messages, it sucks, because it does. And it's unfortunate, because I do acknowledge what Mark said and what you just reminded us, Martin, that sometimes these people don't mean to do anything. And in fact, you get these young ones who are trying to be salesmen or women. Fine, but look, I went to China and they try and flog things to you because you're white. You know what I mean? And now I come back and I'm very negative. I mean, I try to be polite and respectful to everyone. But if I don't I feel like I've got two choices with some people. Either I'm going to swear at them, which I hate because it makes me feel really bad, or I'm going to grab them by the throat and do something horribly nasty with them, and I'll be in trouble for quite some time after, if you get my drift. But yes, it's how to avoid all that. And yes, I don't know what else to say, but yes, I totally get with what they brought up at that part of the meeting. Oh.
There's something there that has anybody here ever been to the party towns such as in Ibiza or Faliraki or Magaluf? Has anybody ever been to any of those? No? So
I have.
can you all hear me?
We can hear
You have, Ryan. Yeah.
You're just a little slow while you're speaking. But we can hear.
So Ryan, thank you, Carly. So Ryan will know then that there's reps who stand outside the bars and the clubs, and their role is to try and get you in and get you drinking as long as you can in that bar or club. And some of them, especially when you're there for maybe 2 weeks, some of them you really do just want to punch square in the face because they drive you mad trying to get you in every night. But you don't. But you get to a point where you're like, no, go away. The thing is that if we know that's what we're going to experience, and that's what they're there to do. That's their job. It's when, with the example that was shared this morning, was when, and this actually happened to a friend of mine, and we discussed it yesterday, where she said, look, I've got 2 businesses, but I just want an hourly rate. I just want a little bit of work that I know at the end of the week, I'll have done those hours and I'll be paid for those hours, like a job, but just not full time. So this person was like, yeah, this'll help you, absolutely. So she went on the call and sat there and listened to the presentation. And at the end, the person was like, so if you buy these products, you can then have an open account and you can sell these products. And she went, that is 100% against what you told me this is. And that's where
You just froze, right? Just on that's where. So if you can hear us, you've just frozen, Martin.
That's okay. Sorry. Yeah, he did say he was in the same neck as he was in earlier today.
Here he comes.
Oh, he's back. He's
back.
back.
Yes.
Welcome back,
Woo!
Martin. Yay.
first world problems. So I can't remember where I was up to, but anyway. Yeah.
You said, and what was it, Ryan? What did I just say?
So you were the lady went into the room. She got told about the product, and she was like, "That's exactly what I didn't want to do." Take away, Martin.
Yeah, and so the thing is exactly what Roger and Mark had spoke about today, is that people out there are just focused on selling instead of actually building the relationship. So I can't remember if I was communicating with you around this, Ryan, but I say to everybody, for me, friendship is far more important to me than the business relationship. And I want to step into a relationship with people that lasts as long as I physically last in this lifetime, because that's what's more important to me. I want to know that if I went over to America tomorrow, I could call in and see Ryan and hang out. Like, that's more important to me than Ryan joining a business or me joining a business with Ryan, whatever it would be, and earning some money and then changing our paths and not speaking ever again because we don't do the same business. That to me makes no sense.
Yeah.
But for some people, it makes total sense, because they're like, well, why would we stay friends? We did this. No, I need to move on. Okay, well, the relationship wasn't important to you. The sale was important to you. And thank you for showing me now what I want and what I don't want. Because numbers on a genealogy tree in my back office don't mean anything, because they're just numbers. But when I see somebody's face and name and I can contact them or ring them or connect with them, that means far more to me.
Yeah.
it boils down to what motivates them. You can do both, but at the core, it boils down to what's more important to you, or what's motivating you. Is getting the sale what's motivating you, or is genuinely helping someone motivating you? Because getting the sale will get you the money, but it won't necessarily maintain the relationship. But just genuinely helping someone, not only will it maintain the relationship, but it will also get you more business. So even if it is like, hey, sales is where I want to go, you should approach it from a relationship standpoint, because a relationship is going to produce sales. But again, it boils down to the mindset of, are you here to help or are you here to sell? Because I know getting into sales, I know that I'm going to do great, but I'm not going to do great because I'm a good salesman. I'm going to do great because I'm a good person, because I'm going to approach every interaction as a, how can I help you? And if I know that what I'm selling isn't going to help you, I'm not going to try and sell you on that. I'm just going to say, hey, I know that what I have to offer isn't going to help you out. We can still communicate, but I know that I'm done trying to sell you on this object, because it's not going to help you. And in that, it's going to, one, build that relationship, but also let them know that I care about them and not about the sale. And that's, to me, the most important thing.
Yeah, really, that's so important there around, especially when you look at most people, and I'm saying most here because some people it is definitely a want than a need, but the angle there is if when people step forward, and this is that you know their problem, this is my problem, and then either you have something to offer them and it's that they buy it, or it's actually education, information, knowledge, experience. So right now, if we look at it this way, there is a sale that's taking place every time each of us speak, because we're actually sharing some level of knowledge and experience, and some of us will take that on board and will receive it. Now, this sale doesn't have to be monetary. It's very much in society about money. But when we look across the board, we know that, for instance, I've got a $6,000 water machine sat on my bench. I don't look at that $6,000 water machine and go, that cost me $6,000. I go there knowing that the water I get from it is actually really healthy for me. So I never think about it again. But the what I had to give in order to receive the $6,000 was my knowledge and my experience and my ability to do for whatever it is. It could have been my carpentry. It could have been anything that I did. It could have been phone calls, just sharing my knowledge and experience with somebody who's paying for coaching calls. And they reached out to me for my knowledge and experience. So there wasn't a product, but there was all that wisdom that has been built up over years that they're accessing, like an autobiography or a self-help book. You're accessing the power of somebody else's experience. And then I go and get that monetary energy and I go, well, I want something of value for me, such as my health, because health's a value. And I get it. So even though someone would go, oh, I made a sale, I go, I actually allowed myself to fix something that was missing in my life, to be able to become more through that process. But some people go, oh, it was about the sale. For them it was, but it wasn't for me. Does this make sense? And that's where I think it's also important that we look. And when people, I get quite a lot, and I'm not just saying this as in being big-headed, or maybe I am, but I get quite a lot of people who reach out to me trying to sell me into businesses, and they've even got an agenda, and they're actually just trying to smother me up. So, hey, Martin, how are you? What have you been up to? And I'm like, you're on Facebook, mate. Just go and have a look at my Facebook profile. You'll see what I've been up to. Like, so And I'm waiting for it coming because there's certain language and a certain energy, and I'm very energetic and I go with my gut, my intuition. And I always ask, what is the intention for you connecting with me? Because there's always an intention. 100% there's always an intention. And if people are clear, they'll come forward and say, my intention is this. And I go, okay, cool, fantastic, now I know. But if they carry on to, oh, I just really like what you post and blah, blah, okay, cool. And then a week later they say, hey, do you do crypto? It's like, did you really contact me to actually market me crypto, or do you want to actually connect with me and become friends? So that's where I think it's important as well when we look at like what Ryan was saying there. What is our intention? Is our intention to be a receiver? And I can only speak, I can't speak of the other platform you mentioned, Ryan. But is our intention to be a receiver from the value within NG? For me, when I created these masterminds, it was all on the intention of connecting with people around the world who value personal growth, who want to mastermind on real relevant topics that are going to help us all become better people. That was my intention. So what did I attract through that process? People who wanted to personally grow, have conversations, connect with people around the world. Now, sometimes these calls have got a lot more people. Sometimes there's only 2 of us. Sometimes there's just me, and that's fine. But you look and go, the intention was what is being built upon. Now, if the intention was to sell, the whole call would be different, and I'm pretty confident you guys would still not be here. Do you see the difference? And that's where it's about what is, for me, I believe, what is the intention? What is the purpose for the meeting, for the call? And then we know that when we're together, we know the topic we'll be covering. We know the value we'll be receiving to make sure it's in alignment for us to give up the most powerful and important commodity we've got, which is our own time. But I'd love to hear from somebody else.
Okay, I'll go next, unless Roger wants to. Got anything, Roger? I was just thinking, what does sale even mean? So I stuck words to it. Specialized, aligned, love, energy. That was my meaning of sale. Specialized, aligned, love, energy. Like everything's energy. Everything's got a condition on it. When we're selling, we normally have an agenda. We want to sell it to someone to either, like you're saying, collaborate with them and keep working together and build a bigger business for yourself and with the potential for them, or you're just selling at the dotted line, number, move on to the next person, don't really give a crap whether they're your friend or not. You know, I'm not really a salesperson, but when I joined Enagic, that's what I experienced. The person really just said they wanted to be my friend. Let's be friends for life. This will be a great business. 3 months they traced me. And then I decided to join up. Now, I joined up because I wanted the water for my family. But the other part was, this would be amazing. I've got this amazing human being who wants to be a great friend with me for a long time. Well, that was a load of crap, like basically. So, and I found out the fast way that was a load of crap probably within a month. But my innocence and trusting of people, believing in humanity could change, kept me going for a long time. And every time, or a month later or 2 months later, something had come up and I'd think, right, it was all a load of crap. Even though I tried to convince myself that, no, maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe they did mean it when they said they would be my friend for a long time and work together in a business. Well, I don't want to sell anything to anyone if I have to lie about my core values. Because to me, selling like that is lying about your true core values. Like, it is a lie. Because your core values, if you are really aligned to those, you have no need to lie about anything. Not one lie is necessary. Because the truth is, you will make friends for life just by aligning to your core values, no matter whether you sell something or don't to that person.
Yeah, that's a really powerful, especially in this, you know, that was direct sales, or you know, network marketing, but especially in those kind of businesses. And I think that's why a lot of that let's just put it all under the umbrella for ease of MLM. I think that's why a lot of it gets such a bad rap, is because so many people are brought in from a money angle. And I think it was Matthew McConaughey that said that in his talk to one of the universities, he had said that he went into a like a magic potion store. I think I've shared this before, and all these potions were different areas. Multi-level marketing, Ryan. And he said all these potions were there, and the one that was missing off the shelf was to be rich, to have lots of money. So he said it just goes to show the way that we think lots of money or all this money is gonna sort out or make us happy. Now, there's no doubt about it that if you talk to people who've not had money and have money in regards to a lot of it, they will say, my life is a lot better with money. It's one less thing to worry or stress about. So just goes to show that we put a lot of emphasis and stress toward, have we got enough? And most of us, and I really only realized this once we got the caravan and the car and we were going off to tour Australia. I realized how much that I had that I didn't need. And I was like, wow, I've got so much here that I can get rid of. So we live very, the way that we live and we spend is very, very small these days. And it's amazing how much more I feel I have. Hey, Kevin, more I feel I have in my own life, in everything around me. But you also said something there, Carly, that was really powerful in regards to, and it's something Abraham Hicks brought up. Abraham Hicks says that when we experience something that we don't like, then we automatically create a knowing of what I don't want to experience that again. So I'm going to be more aware of the signs that are shown from other people so I don't experience that again. And it helps guide us to what we do. So as long as we don't feel disheartened that everybody is going to be singing from the same hymn book or tarnish everybody the same, knowing that that we live in a world of polarity, and therefore there are going to be people who are consciously doing the right thing. And there's going to be people who unfortunately are unconsciously or consciously doing what we would class as the wrong thing. But to them, in some cases, they don't know any different, because if their goal, so for instance, the guy who introduced me to NG, he introduced me from coming to this platform, you will earn a lot of money. And I said, but money isn't my drive. And he was like, but you'll earn a lot of money. And he kept emphasizing that. And I came in, he immediately went to Gold Star, got on a call with Mark and went, wow. And Mark explained why Noble Goldman was there, why he created it, the intention behind it and everything. And never once did he talk about the money. So that resonated with me, because I knew that the money was a byproduct of the service and value that I choose to give. And we were already talking on that level. But then when I went and saw Ricky's mission statement, it read like this: my mission is to create a 7-figure income every year and help at least 10 other people achieve the same. So when I read that, I was able to understand Ricky's way of thinking and go, Ricky wants to achieve a 7-figure income, and he will do whatever he can to achieve that. That's okay if you're going to find people who want to achieve the same. Otherwise, you put people off. Instead of saying, hey, Ryan, what is it that you want to achieve? What is your vision? And let me see if I can help you personally, or if I maybe need to send you on to or advise you to connect with somebody else in order to create a collaboration there that doesn't involve me. That to me is far more powerful than assuming that everybody wants to be $1 million earner. Because I know for a fact that a lot of the relationships that Ricky had, and this isn't me speaking ill of Ricky in any way, and I've actually been very direct in communicating, but I know a lot of the relationships Ricky had, he's lost them because of the way he's communicated and been so strong about money, because he wasn't listening to what their vision was or what they wanted. He just pushed his on, and it was like, if you don't fit in here, I haven't got time for you. Get off my friends list. Well, that's not, and that serves him. That serves him, and that's 100% fine. But what some of us are looking for is, as we've stated before, that true connection, the essence of connection, of a business partnership. But we take the business aside and go partnership, knowing that every relationship and partnership, whether it be with our female or male other, significant other, we all know that it never runs always smoothly all the time. We all know it's like this, but we're in it for the long haul. We respect each other. We may have a moment where we're like, she's driving me bloody mad. Why can't she see it this way? Or why can't he see it this way? But we know when we step back and we actually think about it and go, or we have a conversation with them, we go, oh, okay, I can see it now from your side. I've never met somebody who has raised her eyes so much to the heavens as Beth with me. But at the same time, I do it with her, and we kind of like bang heads. But our intention is to achieve the same. And all we've got to do is find that common ground, and we have mutual respect for each other, and we may be able to actually figure it out and go, okay, if our intention is the same, we're aligned, and therefore we can find the outcome.
Sounds like they have an extremely healthy and normal relationship there, Martin. Sounds like just like mine. Mine gets more and more like your, Beth, each year. We're coming up to 19 years of marriage, though.
Wow.
I'm just shuddering what it's going to be like in 25 and 30 years, but I might be fully grown and transformed by then, brother. Sorry to bring that up, but it's like, I've met men who've been married 40, 50 years, pastors with successful marriages. It's all the same what you said, Martin. It's like, excuse us, Carly. Yeah. You know what I mean? I said, what happens here? I just want peace and harmony in the marriage. Dream. But anyway, yeah.
But that as well, and I think there's a good point there. We think we want peace and harmony, but that doesn't help us grow, and that doesn't help us evolve to deal with things as in other relationships.
Well, I must be growing then, and you too.
none of that, and that's like I say, at the times it's kind of like, why is this? Well, it's not why is this happening from a victim mindset, but it's like, why is this happening? What is the lesson here? And when you step back, even today, I was just laid on the bed thinking about some things and going, I can actually see this from their side. So this wasn't around Beth, this was from something else that's going on, going, okay, I can now see it from their side, because I was in my side too deeply. And they're coming forward, their thing that they're in deeply and going, okay, well, how are they seeing this? How are they thinking? How have they acted? Is what they're saying aligned with their actions? No. So then you're diving deep and you're asking questions, but it only comes about when we choose to be open and taking the time to step back and go, well, if this is the way it is, how does that impact me? So if they're actually right, and that's a judgment in itself, but if they're actually right, that will mean then that I'm wrong or out of alignment with where we're going with this. And then the next question is, am I willing to accept that and make the change to get on board, or am I going to remain as where I am? If I'm going to remain where I am not going to be a part of this moving forward. because I can't, because energetically I will not be in flow. I'll be fighting against the tide. I'll be fighting against the stream of the river. So these are really powerful ways to just step back and just go, okay, is this what I want? Is this where I want to be? Can I? And we can all choose to let go of things, but am I willing to let go? And sometimes I feel, and I'll leave it at this and open it up to the floor. Sometimes I feel that a lot of this is down to a lack of understanding, a false expectation, or even something we've created ourselves from past experiences, and we haven't let go to allow the new in. Let that mic drop.
I'm going to go first. Yeah, like even in the case of my previous peoples, I don't want to say companies or names, like I had an expectation because I believed what they told me when they finally signed me up. I believed everything. I'm a bit gullible like that. And so the thing is, I still months later thought it'll turn around. Like the person wouldn't be lying because they too convincible that they would just. And so I still months later, like 6 months later, now I've got a different opportunity. Like I couldn't believe that this person that I shared what I do sell over in America a couple of months ago, she actually ever since has been hearing what I sell everywhere she goes and goes back to me and every time she hears someone else talk about it, she comes back to me and says to herself, I've got to buy that off Carly Bowler. And all she said to me, even today, she said to me, all I want to do is get the thing from you because I want to help you. I'm like, okay. I thought I didn't have to sell anything because when I mentioned it ages ago, she's had me in her mind ever since. No matter whoever is selling it in America, no matter who brings the subject up, I've got to go talk to Carly Bowler. I just thought that was awesome. Like,
it's awesome, Carly, and I really want to expand this, and this is for us all, only because of what I've experienced over the last several months. Sometimes it doesn't happen in that area that we're actually focused on and talking about. It's because of, from a point of the universal laws, it's because of all the other things we do. So from your angle, you're always showing up to help with the calls. You're always, when somebody's out of alignment, you're always reaching out and, hey, may I do a healing on you? You're always coming from a place of giving that's outside of the company that you're going to be able to get the sale from, but it's because the whole energy and essence of you is about service. So where you can be rewarded financially, it will come in, even though that's not what you're doing through the healings, through being on the calls, which is so beautiful, because then it makes us really look at and go, am I giving in all the areas that I'm able to give whilst also serving myself? So not giving to dry ourselves out, serving ourselves and giving from that full cup, but knowing that when we do, like this call right now, some people say to me, why are you wasting an hour on a free call? I'm like, it's a waste of an hour to you, and you haven't experienced the call, so it's a judgment that it's a waste of an hour. But what I receive from being on these calls uplifts me, and I don't know how much money I could put on that to experience it. So I go on these calls, I create new relationships and friendships. Yes, it may be from an angle of whether they're in the Noble Goldman community or from a business angle or whatever it would be. But because we're not focused on business or sales, we're actually communicating, we're getting to know each other more, we're sharing life experience, we're contributing to each other, and that is far greater than just getting the sale and going, woohoo, look at that money in the bank, because I'm pretty confident the following month you'll be going, I need some more money in the bank. but the relationship, the friendship, how we felt, what we learned from that we're able to take it away from the masterminds is going to serve us potentially for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
So good for you.
I just want to add before Kevin does, that this same person has offered me an opportunity in their business circle to even bring my gifts next Tuesday. I'm like thinking, this is just incredible, because I've been masterminding with this particular person and another couple of people just live on Facebook as a special thing. And because I show up, like you're saying, this person has reached out and asked me to do this thing on their private company thing, which I'm doing next week. And that was like 3 days ago. And about 3 days ago, someone else reached out to me and asked me to do that for their group. So I've had 2 people in a week, and I thought it's because I've been doing this and meeting everybody and people getting to know me. And now there's these people offering to show me to their groups of people. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome. I'll just say, first of all, Coralie gave me a little note here today, and she wants it to be stuck on the computer. And it's only 4 lines, but and this has got nothing to what I was actually going to get to, but I'll just share it with you. And it is: stay the course, face the storm, do it afraid, go for the dream. Right? And I actually had to do that today, because on the earlier meeting with Mark today, you would have seen a guy come onto the group, and I welcomed him, and then he disappeared. And I thought, bugger, he disappeared. And 9 people had joined up onto NG through me, through the Vault Rugby thing. And I invited them all to come along to learn more about NG. He came on as we were all just saying, hello, g'day, mate, how are you? And all that sort of thing, before really getting into the nitty gritty of the discussion. And he left like 30 seconds before Mark said what I wanted this guy to hear. And he sends me an email, and I'd like to share it with you and my response. He basically said, Kevin, I didn't stay for the whole session. It was a bit too warm and fuzzy for me. If I want to have a podcast, a Zoom session with like-minded collectors, I've got a big enough network and client base to do this. I don't need, without NG backing, I don't see the benefit. Paying a fee, which he hasn't done because it was free to join NG. I'm getting others in below me to defray my costs isn't for me. He goes, I've already done Zoom sessions. We've done 2-day seminars, and it was all done for no fee and no obligation. And I looked at that email and I thought, well, okay. So my reply to that was, thanks for getting back to us, Michael. Yes, I saw you come on, but as normal, the first bit you saw was everyone saying g'day. Without a word of a lie, 30 seconds after you left, all your questions would have been answered by Mark Santos. I'd like to get you onto a Zoom call at some stage, but hey, I understand. And in saying that, I do hear you, and I thank you for taking the time to have a look. Now, the reason I brought this up is what you were just saying a couple of minutes earlier about other people and what they want to get out of NG. Now, I was trying to portray this to some people. And as you saw today, Jeff introduced us to Sarah, and Sarah didn't know who to thank, Jeff or me. And I just went, oh, that's really cool. But the thing was, I've had 3 people that I've invited to come and have a look, but they've all had one thing in common. And it's actually helping me now to weed out who my prospects are to introduce to Noble Goldman, to introduce to the Vault, because they all had one thing in common. And it was all, in my opinion, very self-centered approach. It was, what is it in for me? Why should I do this? And I just look at that and I go, okay, what I'm looking at is bringing a community together and doing what we're doing here and chatting. If you get something out of that, brilliant. If you don't, brilliant. But what would be the best way to, other than saying, come and see Russ, come and see Mark, come and see Martin, what is the best way to probably approach those type of people who you know would benefit, but to get them out of that single-mindedness? Martin.
My response to that, and well done on the way you handled it. My response to it would basically be, what is it that you want to achieve? What is it that you want? Because this is, I had a conversation with Ancha the other day and said, she said, oh, I've been dropping names of people who are in the vault, as in the value that they bring. But a lot of these people are like, who? Never heard of them. Who? Never heard of them. And if you listen to Russ is like, these people launched Tony Robbins. These people were working alongside Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar. Well, when you know in the personal development space, they're big names. So, but we haven't heard of these people who launched them. The same as I don't know who the manager of Bruno Mars is or Michael Jackson was. I don't know them. I know Bruno Mars or Michael Jackson. So, but the point that I made to Ancha was, people align with the topic because that's what their hobby is or their value is. Therefore, the rugby in itself is a very unique topic. But what we're actually doing, as I shared just before you're on the call, Kevin, is when we look at the overhaul aspect of NG, NG is really a platform to bring people together to communicate and become better versions of ourselves. Now, some people are ready to receive that, and some people just aren't. So even when I communicate, like with my mum loves it. My mum was married to my dad for 30 years, but I talk to my dad about any level of personal growth, and he just looks at me like I've got two heads. I try and talk to my brother about it, not interested. So I learned then and go, do you know what? It's not worth my time. I'd rather talk to people who value that. So what I would suggest there is that once you get clear on what you know they want, and if they don't know what they want, then they need the abundance game. Then they need to be getting on the calls. Because everyone I ask, I've got people who are messaging me around once again, the businesses, and I go, what's your mission? What's a mission? Okay. What is it that you want to achieve? Well, I want to help people invest in crypto. No. That's not what you want to build. What is it that you want to achieve? And you start going, and these people have no idea why they are alive. They have no idea why they're here, what they're here for. So, but we have to meet them there. And it's that famous saying of give the people what they want and educate them on what they need. But until you give them what they want, they are not going to be ready for you to hear from you on what they need. And when we turn around to someone and go, do you know what? You need this. They'll go, no, I don't. Who are you to tell me what I need? Like coaches are amazing how they can basically get you to tell you what they were going to tell you. Like, you need this. They'll ask you a question of, do you think this would be beneficial to you to help you be able to have a better relationship with your partner? Oh, yeah. But if you said, you need this to have a better relationship with your partner, they go, no. Because nobody likes to be told what to do. We want to make decisions on our own. Does that help? And I know Ryan and Roger want to.
Yeah, sorry, guys. Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head. And thanks, because I was really sort of down. I suppose you could say down in the dumps, and you don't normally see me down in the dumps, but I was a bit down in the dumps that he just didn't stay for that, at least after the welcomings, because part of our culture here in New Zealand is you can be be welcomed for half an hour before the actual talking starts. And same in Australia now with welcome to country. There's a lot of protocol that can go forward before the actual discussion. And whether you're in America or Australia or Timbuktu, there are certain things, and you've got to sit back and absorb what you're hearing before the actual conversation begins. And I was a very sort of a bit upset that he didn't see it through, because I saw Roger say cricket. This guy not only sells memorabilia in rugby, but he sells all the different sports. And that's what I said to him on the phone today. I said, come along, it could be a place where you could expand your business into other areas. And because rugby is just the first thing in the vault, there will be others after it and other sports, and you will be able to go and meet those other people. But he just, by looks of things, just didn't understand it.
If I may just jump in before Ryan, and I know Roger,
sorry,
they put their hands
guys.
up straight away. So no, I think they actually want to add to what you asked. But I just give this as an example for all of us, but certainly for you, Kevin, that with anybody like that, they are very much about what's in it for me. I've got all this stuff. I've got everything's working for me. So why do I need something else? And most people don't realize that they're working for it instead of it working for them. So the angle of what we're doing here, and what I'd invite you to do and encourage you to do, is anybody like that who has got a lot of value and can truly leverage and grow within NG, is to encourage them that as soon as they get on, let them know, look, there's going to be, hey, how's everyone doing? What has been your wins? But then as soon as that is over, ask Mark the direct question that you want the answer to. So that's not for you, that's for the person, for your person. Go straight to Mark and say, hi, I'm brand new to this community. This is where I'm at and this is where I want to go. How will NG help me get there? Because then that's exactly what Mark can come in and go, okay, I know where you're at. I know where you want to get to. This is how we can do it. And that way they'll go, okay, I see a level of value. If they have uncertainty, they will make a point, because everybody wants to be seen and heard. And that's the only way, but it's only if you give them the right to step into that space where they can create it to be seen and heard. Ryan, I really want to hear from you and Roger, mate.
Roger, you got it. Martin, you said everything that I wanted to say. So I'll pass it to Roger, because I know we're
sorry, brother. Hey, we'll take that as transmitters and receivers. You was transmitting and I received you, brother.
Oh, my go. Okay. Yeah, and I think I shared this. I don't know if you heard Martin today at the leaders meeting. One of the things that I've really found that, and it's this relationship thing, and about people wanting to help need, and it's to help others get their needs, not the money. And let's say I'm reading a book from my pastor, well, the wife and somebody else, senior pastor, actually wrote a book on leadership, and it fits with Noble Goldman. It's like it's not leadership's not about money and a whole range of things. It's about helping people get what they need, and just like you should expect with good, wisdom is money doesn't come into it, and I shared something like that today, and one of the things that I've picked up, and it's I had worried ever since when I got married, my good income went enough because the wife wanted this and that, and fair enough. And then we had a son, and then we got divorced. So I was broke for decades, and it's left a poverty mentality that I've been trying to push out. And I think it fits in with what we're sharing. One of the most best things that I found I've been picking up this year was, let's say, starting to manifest in my character, in my demeanor. It's not worry about the money and helping others get what they want. And like I've got this company not throwing students at me, but providing students. And while I'm a chemistry teacher, I've got all maths, and it's like, some of it's senior maths. Oh, I don't mind helping, but it's like, well, how many people actually find mathematics interesting? Not many, you know, but I'm helping these kids and I'm helping their parents. In fact, I've got a number of, we call it land type students, you know, teachers have to pass the numeracy and literacy test in Australia before they become teachers. And I've got 4 strongly committed and motivated people who really value what I've got to share. And I thought, well, you know, so it's about, I built a relationship with trust and helping them book the topics. And it keeps dawning on me. I start to worry about how much money I'm earning for the week, and then I realize I'm not putting the money up front, I'm putting it to the side. And that's probably why I'm feeling more clear and more relaxed and probably doing a good job, because my focus should be on helping people get the mathematical skills that they need and get into to be, and these, actually I think they're all primary school teachers, to be primary school teachers, not about me getting wealthier, because we know when you trade your time for money, wealth is a dream or a myth. So that's pretty much everything I've got to add to that.
Yeah, cheers, Roger. There's some new trainings coming into the and I've covered quite a lot around money, and it's not to say that it's right or wrong, but it's my belief and what I've learned over the years. Well, one of the things that I'd really encourage us all to look at here is that any of us here can go out and earn money in any way. We can go and clean bins, we can go and, you know, be on checkouts or whatever. We can earn any way, but it comes down to, what are we doing that's actually serving us in the time being? So, and sometimes, you know, the mining industry, you might not be familiar with this, Ryan, but the mining industry across Australia in particular is very known as a depressive place to be, because most of the people there are there for the money and not because they love the role of their job. And most of them are there because they get that high paycheck and then they spend it, or they overspend on the house, the toys, you know, the Maloo car and the jet ski and all this kind of stuff. And it's all fantastic. Yeah, she used to work in the mining industry. But the problem is then it creates a level of stress, because they're not going because they love the job. They're going because they need to be paying off all the assets, all the things that they own, so or will eventually own. So the angle here is that when I worked in the mining industry and I was on 130 grand a year, 2-1, and I was a fitness coach, I used to play football, as in real football, and organize pool games and dart games and do gym classes. And I got paid for this. I got paid to keep fit. It was fantastic, because one of my values was health and fitness. So I was being paid to live out one of my top values back then. And so I loved working in the mines. But I remember it got to a point where I realized that I was sacrificing my time with my partner and missing out on family things and friends things and so on. And I realized that they were more important to me. And I remember 2013, I stepped into network marketing and I did my first presentation the first week I joined the company. And we had some friends come over, and I said to them all, I earn 130 grand a year in the mining industry, and I work 2/3 of the year. But I would rather be home with my partner, my fiance, and earn 30 grand a year to have the time with her and do the things around the home and so on that I enjoy, that fill my cup. Because the time with my partner is more important than the money that I earn and the time away. So, and lo and behold, because I was clear on what I wanted, that ended up happening not the way of me choosing to live, but through a lot of bullying that ended up in 2 mental breakdowns and me having to leave for my own health. And then getting to a point where I actually chose a completely different path, and I was earning more money than I earned in the mines, but it was filling my cup and I was home. So the whole angle of this is that I don't believe we have to, we should be focusing on the money aspect. What I believe we should do is get clear on our core values and then look around. How can I turn my income or my core values into an income earning asset? So I know every day that I am living in alignment and my cup's being filled, the money's coming in. I don't even have to think about the money because I'm so happy in what I'm doing. And I think it was Steve Jobs that said that he'd always ask himself each day, if today was my last day, is this what I would do? And if the answer was no, if he answered no 6 days in a row, he would change what he was doing. Because some days we all know that we need to do some things that we maybe wouldn't necessarily want to do. But at the same time, if it's a continued pattern, when people say to me, I'm fed up with my job, I don't want to be here, my boss is a knobhead. Well, do you know what? Only you can change that. Because your boss is not going to stop being a knobhead because you already have solidified that he's a knobhead. So no matter what your boss does, he will remain there or she will remain there. Carly.
Did I? Yeah. With what you're saying, I know we're running out of time, but with what you're saying with the core values and the job, you just transfer it over to the finding the people for Noble Goldman. You know, like with Kevin and that one person today.
Yes.
You transfer it over and see if your 5 core values didn't really match the kind of person you are when you show up with him. If for some reason when you showed up and he left and it interfered with your core values, you check in to see if your core values, one of them got rippled. If one got rippled, then maybe the alignment's not there exactly for that person. You come back into your power of your core values in that awareness straight away. And from there, you start the new game of the real person that will come in.
Spot on.
Absolutely
Spot on, because that's how I felt. That's how I felt most of the day after that call. And I was thinking deeply, you know, really for me, that was quite a thing for me to feel, you know, and Coralie and Owen went off to the movies this evening. And I said, oh, look, I'm busy. But so they were gone most of the evening. And I was just sitting there and all I was doing all night was thinking exactly that. What was it that I had missed? Because not with just him, but, you know, but with some people that have said, yeah, I'm in. And so I look at the values, as you said, and I'm thinking, well, they joined in through that landing page I made. They must have read what was there. They must have seen what I said was in the vault and what I want to bring, my mission and bringing to the vault. And then I've also got the thing there with what is ENG, with Mark, Russ, and George Madu video. And explain. So for him to would have looked at that, he still clicked that button to say, let me join. So to me, I thought, well, okay. So he understands, but doesn't understand. So that's why I said, come along. But now I sit back and go, okay. And there's another chap called Adrian, and we had him on with Russ and everything. And even Russ said, it was all about, I can get 20 grand for doing this. Why should I come? You know, and we're saying, well, you know, and Russ really tried to get him over the line for me, but just like, no, this is me. And so ever since then I've been thinking, but now what happened today was another learning experience. So Coralie said to me when she got home from the movies, she goes, well, now you know, okay, you got 5 people. Does this one tick all the boxes? Does this one tick all the boxes? Yeah, maybe not. So that maybe not, we'll just say, come. If you don't come, don't let you shoot yourself in the foot over it. So yes, exactly what you were saying, Carly. Thank you.
I think, sorry, Carly.
I was just going to say, because in all that, in the 5 values, your core ones, if one gets rippled, you lose your power like I did with my person, right? A long time ago. So you lose your power and then realigning your 5 core values, and you're bringing your pure power, your limitless power to create while in this physical body into alignment through your core values. And when you leak a little value over to someone else in an expectation that they're going to join because they've pressed all the buttons and they like it, any value in you that is slightly misaligned, the power goes to them. And then you get disappointed. But when you recognize it as quickly as you did, you bring it back into you check in basically with your 5 core values. Am I still in my power of my 5 values? And that simple check-in is enough, because then those people get to decide for themselves in clear power of their own. They haven't got your one value over on top of them, pressuring them.
Mm.
So next week they could come back and shock you. I'm back.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Kevin.
No, I was just agreeing.
There's-
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that, because we've got to be careful, because if what are our values or their values? If we let go of our values, they become voids. And when there's a void, there's uncertainty. People we're not happy. We're not functioning effectively. So, and I'll give you an example of this. Beth's core values, her top 3. See you, Roger. Beth's 3 top values are family, animals, and travel. So I know Beth's. Mine are gratitude, connection, and experience. Now, when Beth and I are working, and then she's on her phone watching an Instagram video of a dog, I'm like, what are you doing? Because we're supposed to be getting this finished. Stop wasting your time watching another bloody dog video. Or watching Molly the cow that's got stuck under a tree. Like, to me, I'm going, hey, let's get this stuff done. But in that moment, because what it's important to me as in connection. I want to connect with more people around the world and build relationships. I want to experience more from learning from them all. I want to be able to, I'll have gratitude for the whole experience and being involved. So I'm actually pushing my core values onto Beth, as in, come on, we need to get this done. She then pressured, but when I step away, I go, hang on. My internet says it's unstable, so I hope you can hear me still. For Beth to be able to function, she needs to have that time watching videos of animals, because it's a value and it fills her cup to be able to do the things that maybe are going to help serve me and others. She's not giving away her values, but she's helping. And because she's in alignment with her values, her vibration, her frequency is higher. Therefore, our relationship is a lot better. Whereas if I know for a fact that when I'm out of alignment with my values, I'm not nice to be around. So, and she'll say, go off into nature. When she's out of alignment with her values, I'm like, go for a run, because she needs to go for a run to let that out. So these are really important that we're aware of that. But I also encourage us all. Most people don't know the core values. So it's hard when we're communicating that. And this is why we're going to include core values in the masterminds and so on moving forward. But I think it's important that we also are aware that right now, would we all agree that personal development is a core value for us all? Yeah. So it's all so we're all in alignment there. But I'm confident if we went all around our own top 5 core values, we wouldn't all have the same top 5. But we've already clarified we've got one in alignment. Let's say personal development's in our top 5. So therefore, if I know what Ryan's 5 core values are, and Ryan's clear on them, because he's got to be clear to communicate for me to be aware, I can go, okay, I know this is important for Ryan. Ryan tells me that a core value for him is family, and he's saying, hey, Martin, over the weekend, I'm going to be with my family. I'm not going to be messaging Ryan, because I know it's important Ryan is present with his family. The same as Mark always said. Mark said, at the weekend, it's family time. So I do not message Mark at all, because I don't want to interrupt his family time because it's a value. And if I keep interrupting, then my values are going to be interrupted. See, but this is a huge one in regards to being in alignment and being clear how we can serve each other. But core values are something most people have no idea. And if you put a list, they would go, that's a core value, that's a core value, that's a core value, and you go, okay, how is it a core value? What are you doing right now that is 100% a core value in your life? Because I'll hold my hand up and say 2012, well, 2010, 2012, core value for me, my number one was health. My number one was health. Health isn't even my top 5 anymore. Think of the power of that. Health isn't in my top 5 anymore. So it's still in my top 10, but it isn't number 1. And that's where it's really important that people go back and they do it regularly and go, has anything changed in my life when my core values have changed in order? Or, you know, usually when people have a child, so Ryan's about to have his first child. I'm pretty confident family's going to rise up. Pretty confident. So, guys, I am aware we've gone almost 20 minutes over, and I do apologize. I just wanted to really let it flow because I thought it was fantastic. But yeah, you're right, Carly. Right at the moment, I've actually come back and health has been a priority, and I've let go and people have been able to serve. So what's the best way to revisit your core value? In regards to what, Ryan? Creating it?
So I'm pretty sure, and again, I take everything that God is placing in front of me with the intent of I'm hearing something, or something is affecting me, or something is getting my attention for a reason. And you mentioned core values, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I've done it. But if you were to ask me what they are, I wouldn't be able to rattle those off. And that's important because you need to know that, especially when you're communicating with someone else and they ask you that question to get to know you, to see how they can help you. If you can't answer that, it's really going to be hard for them to help you. So I'm like, okay, got it. I need to know what that is. So I just wanted to, the question was, I just wanted to know, what do you do when you need to revisit them or see if they shifted?
I basically would write out, I've got 6 months to live, and I'd write out a story, like a letter to myself of what I would do with that 6 months to live. And then I would read through it and find what my top 3 or 5 areas are. So for instance, if I go back to what I wrote out, it was something down the road of, I am grateful for the time that I've had here and the people that I've met along my journey that have helped me become the person I am today. The experience I've had along the way from meeting people, from life in general, from my family members, my friends, my girlfriends, traveling around the world, has all helped me become more than I am. The connection I've actually had with myself, who I've become through the journey of almost taking my life, the ability to actually know myself more and have more confidence in myself has allowed me to be somebody that if I'm to go in 6 months, I am proud of the person that I am. So straight away, when I go back and read through that, and I just rolled that off, but I'm pretty confident it was something down those lines, I would be looking for the key words that really stand out to me. And when I see those words so when we look at gratitude, experience, and connection, as I mentioned before, around you all on this call and people that I'm meeting more and more, when we're on the road driving to our next location, I am grateful for the ability to be able to be living freely, traveling around Australia. I am connecting to the land, to the new land, raw beauty of Australia that I'm seeing. The experience I'm having through that is one that I have never done before, and it's filling my cup. So one of the things that I believe that when you're in alignment with certainly your top 3 in particular, is that you can find 100% connection and alignment in your core values based on how you're living your life. And if you can't, you look and go, how can I adjust my life to live in accordance with my core values? And I'll tell you this right now, when I did this process, my logical brain, which is designed to protect us, as we know, said, oh, Gabrielle wants to come on the next call, Carly, so we'll let her in afterwards. My logical brain went, how the hell am I going to be able to earn any money through gratitude, experience, and connection? That was what my logical brain said. But my heart said, oh, I cannot wait to be really in depth of gratitude, connection, experience. And when I truly accepted it and embodied it, and I was able then to look around and go, wow, it's not just about being on the road driving and getting to the destination and not focusing on the experience to get there, or the planning, or being, you know, it's a joke. I couldn't live in a caravan. Oh, couldn't be doing with the missus for all that time in the car and then the van. Oh, God, I need to get out. I need my own man shed. It's like you find gratitude in everything. And I think gratitude, I'm not saying it should be on everybody's list, but if one book I really encourage anybody to actually get hold of is called The Magic. The Magic, if you've not got that, that is the #1 book I recommend to start with, because that really teaches us gratitude. And right down to the fact that as soon as you wake up, the first thing you do as soon as you wake up, the last thing you do before you go to bed, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Who's that by?
Rhonda Byrne, I think. I think it's by Rhonda Byrne. But if you message me, I'll send it through. The Magic. Is it Rhonda Byrne, Carly? Yeah. And it's not about reading the book. You read the part of a chapter and it could be 2 or 3 pages, or it could be 10, but it gives you something to do that day. And it could be as simple as go and walk on the grass for 100 steps and say thank you for each step. Like, I just buried a close friend of mine on Monday, and he's only 58 and passed with cancer. And I saw a picture of him, and his 2 young daughters that were and his wife were at the funeral. But I saw a picture of him, and he looked so healthy. And I had seen him 3 days before he passed, and he was just nothing of a man, as in he was just so skinny and gone. But I found gratitude in the fact that I had met him and the impact he had made on my life, the connection that we had, the experience over that time, and the experience with him in the hospital, where I went in as my bubbly self, and I was making jokes and laughing with him, and he did exactly the same as he's always done. He just raised his eyes and shook his head, but he knew that I wasn't going to go in with all due respect, as a sourpuss, and because I'd be out of alignment of my core values. I'd be out of alignment of myself. And that's why we have the friendship, because he always said to me, you're always grateful, you're always positive. And I bought him The Magic and gave it him, but he never read it. He never read it, which is a shame. Not saying it would have saved him, but I know that the impact it's made on my life, and naturally I would like others to experience the same. Carly's aware of it. So that's definitely a powerful book. But we are going to dive deeper into core values in the next few weeks, once we've got everything working effectively and structured properly, because it's important that we do check in. Okay, guys, we're gonna have to go. I am truly sorry that we've gone over time, but I'm confident that we've had some great conversation here. I've really enjoyed it.
There's a reason we're still here.
And thank you. Absolutely, brother. Yeah. And thank you, Carly, for hosting. I know you're going to fire up the next one as well for me, just in case